Today we're going to be working on the windshield of this 2005 Lexus. If you've ever had to replace a windshield on one of these type vehicles, it can be extremely costly. So we're trying to take a little crack, small little chip, so it doesn't turn into a large spider web and cost us hundreds if not over $1,000 to fix. The first step you need to do is bring it into a dark garage, either or under a shade. The solution used to fix this uses the UV rays from the sun to cure it, make it hard. So you need to keep this indoors while you're starting the process. Today we're going to be using this windshield repair kit that I picked up at one of the local automotive stores. So you should be able to find these pretty easily. This one happens to be from 3M. There are a bunch of different types. So let's get started. Alright, let me show you what's in these kits. They're all pretty much basically the same. Each one will be a little bit different than the next, just because of the way they've been produced. Of course, you're going to have, here's your resin. Make sure that stays out of the sun. We got instructions, some screws. This one you're going to have to put together. There's your suction cups, part of one of the tubes. Another little suction tube. And your main pieces here. The suction cups will actually fit right in here, and you'll have to screw them in place. Anyway, let's begin putting this thing together. Alright, first thing you can do is you take this thumbtack that comes in the kit and you very carefully rake right where the crack is. You're trying to get any of this loose glass or any pieces that might be in there to come out. So you don't want to dig, you just want to scrape it, because you're, again, just trying to get any loose stuff out. You don't want to create a bigger crack than it is. With the alcohol swab that is provided, you want to take it and, starting at the center of the crack, clean, and then slowly get bigger, because you want to make sure that all the way around here is clean first, so that cleaning out the crack so it has a good adhere. Second, you want to make sure that your little suction cups also stick to the windshield. For the rest of this, I need to use two hands, so I'm going to have the camera on a tripod. You take your container, you take your suction cups in the bridge, and you want to place it directly over the center of this, where a little hole is, directly over the chip. This might take a little bit of practice. Sometimes it helps if you can center it without the screw type piece in there. Get it centered, directly centered over the hole. If all else fails, go inside the car and make sure you're over the crack. Once you're as centered possible as you can, then it's time to take some of the resin. You can funnel it, pull it out and drip it in here with this little dropper. Don't do this over the car, because any of this that touches the car could possibly stick there and stay and hurt your paint. It's also good to take some kind of a rag or a paper towel. I like to use an old sock. It absorbs pretty good. Put it down. You want to protect any kind of dribbles that might run down the windshield. Definitely protect your windshield wipers and everything else on your car. Once you put the resin in, you take your secondary little pusher, very carefully insert it to the hole, trying to prevent any kind of spray that might be coming out. You want to protect your paint. Once you get it in there, You slowly start to screw it down. Be careful. You don't want to create too much pressure and actually hurt the crack and make it bigger. It's also good to check it inside every so often just to make sure. Once the crack has been completely filled with resin, it's time to remove this. And so you very carefully want to just pop up, pull this away and set it in a location where it won't get dirty. Take the rag you have, and very carefully wipe away the excess. Leaving just a little bit where the original crack was. If you have to, if there's still a little bit of a gap right in here, you can always take a little more resin, pull it out here and put just a dab right on top of the crack there. I'm going to do that just so you can see. Get a little tiny bit. Don't even need that much. Just going to put a little tiny bit right on top of where the original crack was. And in your kit you should have a little clear plastic piece. What you want to do is you want to put that directly centered over where the crack originally was. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow the resin to fully seat over where that crack was and create a smooth surface on your windshield. You want to use your finger and pull away any excess air that might be right there at it so that it will cure. Alright, it's now time to back this car out and let it cure in the sun. Alright, after you get it sealed up, you need to pull this out in the sun, and you need to sit here for a good 20 to 30 minutes getting direct sunlight from above so that it can cure. So we will check back on this car in a little bit. Alright, we're going to carefully peel away this plastic. Okay, as you can see right there, there's still a little tiny piece that looks like it didn't get filled, but for the most part this has been filled. It was much wider than that earlier. Now we're going to take a razor blade and very carefully we're going to kind of scrape across here, trying to get any excess residue. We want to see if we can remove as much of it as we can. And I can barely feel a little divot there. But for the most part, it has been filled. And that is how you fill a crack in a window.